My workshop table was a mess until I made this thing. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's a massive workshop table that's 2.3 meters wide and 1 meters long, with a built-in table saw and just a huge amount of space in the front. And in this video, I'll tell you exactly how I made it, step by step, and show you some of the mistakes I've made, because I made a lot of those. Anyway, before we get into that, let me tell you a little bit about this bad boy. A built-in Dewalt table saw, which I have to say is actually quite awesome. It's perfectly flush with the rest of the table, so you can use it as a surface as well. Here I've made a connection to the vacuum, so that, well, this workshop isn't such a mess. A huge amount of space in these bad boys, which were made from an OSB board, and some of them I even managed to organize somewhat. It's shocking, I know. And it is shocking because this workshop was, and it kind of still is, a huge mess. But a little bit less so now. And the last major functionality is these bad boys, which raise the table by about 5mm or so and allow me to move it however I want. Which in such a small workshop is actually really needed. I mean, I don't really think it's a small amount of space, but comparing to a lot of other YouTubers, this is fucking tiny. Anyway, let's get into how you can make one as well. Now, as usual, the first step is to cut and measure everything. And despite me having a vacuum directly attached to this miter saw, it seems like it's making absolutely no difference. So, if you're wondering why it's better to spend a little bit more money on tools, this is exactly one of those reasons. Anyway, once I have all of the base pieces cut, I've made any grooves and cuts required for joining. In this case, I'll be using a form of a half-lap joint, which I've done on the table saw itself. And despite the meticulous planning and drawing everything out, one of these things happened. And as you can see, that doesn't quite align at all. Just beautiful, perfect fit. Anyway, after minor adjustments, it was time to sand everything down and then give up on that day. But on the second day, with fresh new energy, it was time to put everything together and make new mistakes. Which we start by aligning the pieces together. I'll be joining those with two 8mm dowel bits and a simple knockoff jig that I've bought many years ago. To add more strength, I've glued these together, but for that extra strength, which definitely is necessary, I'll be screwing a massive screw on each joint. Because why not? Once the main square was built, I've aligned the legs and joined them in a similar fashion, using glue and unnecessarily large screws, because you can't have too many mechanical fasteners, I think. To me, it was really important that these legs are perfectly square, because if they won't be, it will create a lot of issues down the line. As such, I'd suggest to spend extra time here to make sure that these are perfectly fitting with one another. And after the legs are connected, it was time for both the horizontal top pieces and remaining legs to be added. And it's important to remember here that the legs on one side are different to the legs on the other. It's due to how the bench saw fits within the design. And I've made sure that all of the top pieces are perfectly plumb before screwing them in, so that I am screwing it in and not screwing it up. In this part, you can also enjoy me regretting buying Phillips screws instead of using Torx screws like any other normal person. But hey, they were a lot cheaper, so that's a silver lining, right? That was a bad idea. Anyway, once that's done, to stabilize the structure and support the plywood sheet, it was time to add cross supports. In my case, I've used a thin 12mm plywood sheet instead of a 20mm like probably should in retrospect. So to prevent it from sagging, I needed to add extra supports in the middle to make sure that, unlike myself, it doesn't sag under pressure. And once the main structure was done, I've decided it was time to protect it. I've used a stain and a lacquer mix to make sure that it lasts a very long time, because I ain't doing this again. I mean, let's face it. Next step was to cut the plywood sheet to the right size. In this case, a few centimeters bigger than the target size. But check out my amazing jigsaw. I mean, the angle of that thing to get a straight cut is just amazing. And before you say, you should probably tighten the guard and change the blade, yeah, that would fix all of those issues, but I didn't really think of it at that time. I had shit to do. Anyway, once all of the pieces were cut to more or less the appropriate size, and I felt very happy about that for some reason, I've made sure that it's actually the right size using my table saw. And since the main structure was upside down, I put polyethylene tape to protect the wood from any moisture, but also from the fact that this garage was flooded a couple of weeks ago, and I'm certain it likely will happen again. To continue this awesome build, I flipped this structure upside down, which was actually surprisingly light, but I will not be mentioning that because it made me feel like a Superman. And after that, it was time to integrate the table saw and to properly level it. And this is another place where I would definitely suggest to spend extra time to make sure that it is perfectly plumb before you go any further. Because if it isn't, it's going to be such a pain in the ass. And by the way, I do know that some other YouTubers made versions which can fit other table saws, but I ain't doing that. I mean, I ain't spending another $500 on a table saw. Let's be realistic here. Anyway, once it's perfectly flush, I made sure that it doesn't move by screwing it in. Next on the list was making sure that the guide can freely move. And to do this, I needed to make a cut into the main horizontal support. And only after about 5 minutes or so, I realized that I happen to have the ideal tool for this. Specifically a router, which I've done a great job in preparing. Ah yes, professional work done by professionals on this channel. To professional standards, of course. Anyway, that was very much my first time using the router, and I have learned nothing from this experience. But after tightening it properly and taking smaller cuts, I've managed to do exactly what I needed to. Beautiful. And as I've weakened the horizontal support, I've decided it needed strengthening, which I've assembled using pocket holes. And I've never used them before, to be absolutely honest with you, but I am really positively surprised at how useful these are. Now, for the fun part. To add the plywood sheet, I needed to scrape the edges of the bench saw so that it fits perfectly. And after I cut it and accidentally cut into the supports of the structure, it was time to see if it fits. Beautiful. Although that was after adjusting it around 5 times or so. But let's not talk about that. On YouTube we only have the perfect cuts. One thing I was worried about is that these pieces sagging over time. As such, I've decided to put supports on each side close to the table saw. I've used pocket holes for this. And it fit beautifully, and after adjusting it to make sure that it's perfectly flush, I realized that I now blocked it the other way. Smart. Why do something once when you can do it 2 times? Anyway, I've changed it to be like this, and here is a message from my wife. I reckon that she's saying you should check out the Amazon links below so that I can finally afford the so-called proper tools. Anyway, after the main plywood sheet was in place, I screwed it in on each side. And as you can see, the sheet is bigger than the main structure, and there's a reason for that. Going back to what I mentioned before, I bought a thinner sheet of plywood. And by the way, why is plywood so expensive? What's all of that about? But anyway, because I've bought it too thin, I thought that I needed to strengthen the edges, and that's where I added a piece of timber across the front and the back, which I've glued in place. Now this is by far my favorite part of the build, using the router to trim off the edges. And by the way, here I've trimmed the edges just a little bit too much, so I decided to just round it off. We don't make mistakes on this channel, just happy little accidents. And also, did I wait until the edges properly glue before making these cuts? Of course I didn't. Now, on top of this, I've added a 45-degree chamfer at the top of the table, after which I've decided to fill the holes left by the screws using a mixture of glue and sawdust, to then sand it off and paint the plywood with a clear polyethylene lacquer, which I happen to have after renovating my wooden stairs. Now, I've done this 4 times, with hope that this will make this thing last a lot longer. And after that, I've attached the wheels to make sure that this table is fully mobile. Which, by the way, I may be a cheapskate, but I thought that 40 bucks for 4 wheels was actually quite a lot of money. But in the end, this table isn't light either. Anyway, once that's done, next on the list were the drawers, which now I could do on my beautiful new table. And I've made these from an OSB board, which is very nice and cheap, ideal for this specific use case. And let me just very quickly show you how I made these. And once you have all of the right pieces cut, I've scribed the edges to where my fasteners need to be. Then I've made a pilot hole to make sure that they don't split during the assembly. And once that's done, I would put this piece on one side in my very cheap clamp that I bought from AliExpress years ago. Yes, great stability. Then you screw in your fasteners or nail it in on both sides. And on the back you do exactly the same thing, with putting a nail in the corner to keep it stable. And that's it, a beautiful and very simple drawer. Ideally, they want to extend out, and for that you need a drawer slide, which in my case were 45 centimeters long and apparently can handle up to 50 kilograms, but I definitely wouldn't put that on them. I don't trust it that much. The assembly process is very simple, but very frustrating. You scribe where your holes should be on the main structure and when it needs to be on the drawer, and after adjusting it about 5 times or so, it still doesn't fit. So then you adjust it for the 6th time and it's beautiful. The fronts are a bit of a pain to install perfectly as well, but what I've done here is I've clamped them in place. I've installed 2 small screws in and then adjusted those if necessary. Of course, once that's done, I've added more fasteners to keep it stable. Now, one of the very last steps was adding the handles, which I've made from the offcuts. And these were actually very simple, I just screwed them in from the back. I know how that sounds. Anyway, after that, I've put a stain with the lacquer to protect the front and make sure that it fits better with the rest of the table. But in the end, I've decided to paint those fronts black and leave the handles as they were. And that's how you make this awesome table. But there are things which I was planning to do but didn't do just yet. For example, I designed to build a router table pretty much in the back here. And I do have all of the right pieces, I just haven't really made it yet. As you can see, I have designed a foldable 50cm extension at the end of this table to help cutting those extra wide pieces of plywood, which I don't really do that often, so I haven't done it yet. But it is within the design. And if there will be enough interest, I will create a plan of how to do this whole thing step by step. I mean, I have a 3D model anyway, so I just need to do it. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video and subscribe for more content like this.